Hello everybody, on this episode of Inside Edge we go to a blast from the past. It's Meyrick Pringle we speak to, we find out what he's up to, but first reminisce on how things went when he did play for South Africa. Meyrick, hi, and how do you reckon you are thought of by cricket fans?
Yeah, I think people think back on the 4 for 11 I got against the West Indies, and regard me as the West Indian destroyer in those days. And whenever I played against the West Indies, I just seemed to have got on top of them every time. I don't think they like the ball swinging around a bit. But yeah, those were the good times. I enjoyed, obviously, the World Cup, the first World Cup that South Africa got into in '92. I had a bad start the first game against Australia and then dropped for the next two. And then came back for that game against the West Indies where I got 4 for 11. So, yeah, they're very good times in the past, and the memory of the first test ever against the West Indies in Barbados that we, on the brink of winning and a historic test match, and having fallen short the next day to Curtly Ambrose and Courtney Walsh. It was an unbelievable spell of bowling by them. So yeah, I have some very good memories, and memories of the 4 for 20 I got against Newlands, at Newlands here against the West Indies when they needed 140 to win or something, and we bowled them out for 136. So it was some very, very nice and good memories of the past, and I wished I played a lot more test matches, but unfortunately it didn't go that way. And but yeah, I look back and I've had a wonderful career, first-class career. I think I played over 120 first-class games. I'd like to play more test matches and more one-day internationals, but it was very difficult at the time. Sean Pollock had just come in. I played my last test against England with Sean. So yeah, I'd like to have played a lot more test matches and internationals.
You speak about that 4 for 11 in the World Cup. How was that World Cup for you?
It was unbelievable. We weren't going, and then we were going, and then we were going all of a sudden. They picked I was in a squad of 30, and then left out of the final squad of 20, I think it was. And then when the final selections came, I was very surprised to have seen my name come up. So it was something. We weren't wanting the money or anything. It was all about pride and playing for your country, and the first World Cup that South Africa played in. And it was the camaraderie between the players and the spirit between the players was awesome. It was something new for us, and we'd seen all these other countries on TV and never actually played against them. So it was a challenge against all of them. And I think we would probably be the underdogs going in there, not knowing what they're like and all that. And I think we surprised the world when we came and ended up playing in the semi-finals. I think we surprised a lot of people. And I think that's when people really started respecting South Africa and the quality of cricketers that came out here.
You speak about the 4 for 11, and let's go back to it. Yeah, World Cup performance, very good, but you'd been dropped after the first game. Was it a case of pull finger and I've got to make sure that I do well in this game?
Definitely. I mean, I played the first game at Sydney against Australia where we beat them by 8 wickets, and I was actually really surprised that I was left out. I think I went for 52 in my 10 overs with no wickets. And the next game was against New Zealand in New Zealand, and then Sri Lanka in New Zealand, and we lost both those games. Tertius Bosch came into my place, and he didn't bowl particularly well in both those games, so I automatically back in again. And then it was against the West Indies in Christchurch. And everything just fell in place. I think my first over, I think my second ball to Brian Lara hit me through the covers for 4, and the next ball, the fourth ball, hit me for another 4. So my first over had gone for 8 already.
That was a lot.
And it was a lot then. And the next over I got him out, and then everything just fell apart for them. And I picked up those 4 for 11, and it's a memory that I will never forget. I get reminded by people all the time, and yeah, it's a memory that will stick there for a very, very long time.
Let's fast forward a little bit. You spoke about test match cricket. You said that you wanted to play a little bit more. How was it, that test match?
Yeah, it was a once-off test match, and we were really looking forward to it. We came back after the World Cup, we were back in South Africa for 10 days and then flew to the West Indies again. And everyone was looking forward to this test match. And I remember the person I am, I think going into that last day, the night before the last day, I think we needed 80 runs to win. We had 2 wickets down with Wessels and Caper at the wicket, going very well. And I went to the Carib Beach Bar the night before and I organised a case of champagne for the dressing room for the next day, and organised a live band at the Carib Beach Bar for the night after the final day's play. And of course, I had to cancel that. I sent the champagne back to the hotel and cancelled the band. And it was, you look back and these two guys, we couldn't do anything to them. Nobody could do anything. They were unplayable, and they bowled right through the test match and bowled us out. The two of them got the 8 wickets. But it's also a very fond memory to have, although we lost, but it is, everyone thinks of that first test match that South Africa played. It was awesome.
Yeah, you're a fast bowler, swing bowler, but let's move to the batting side of things. And as I ask you about that, let's speak about Javagal Srinath. Do you remember?
I do remember, yeah, I do remember that very clearly. I just hit him for a 4, he bowled me a bounce, I hooked him for 4, and then the very next one came, I think, 20 yards quicker. But I missed it, and it hit me in the eye, I had 15 stitches below the eye, 10 up top, and broke my nose and broke my cheekbone. And I was out. I was on a, when I woke up again in the hospital, I was on a drip, and shame old Javagal still came to the hospital and brought the blooded shirt that I had worn, and he'd signed it and apologized for everything. And it was very nice of him to come to the hospital and say hello and apologize and everything. That's how cricket was then. You know, I don't think Dale Steyn or Morkel will go to hospital if they knock somebody out and say, I'm sorry.
they're both nice guys, though. When it passed them, they're really nice guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he came and everybody else did come, and some of the other Indians did come to the hospital. So that's, and we had a very nice relationship then. I think that tour was called the Friendship Tour to South Africa. So we got on very well with the Indians as well. So it was a nice bunch of guys then.
What about the effects then of that hit? You know, what happened from there on?
I could hook the ball before then, and I couldn't hook after that. I still remember Duncan Fletcher took over as coach of Western Promise at the time and got me in the nets with tennis balls in the bowling machine, and I was even scared of that. So that was my downfall towards the end of my career. Everybody knew about it, and Pringle can't hook anymore, and the days were gone by of the contracts with fast bowlers. It's, you know, don't bowl bouncers to me, I won't bowl bouncers to you. So that was all out the windows, and the guys attacked me. So yeah, once it got in there, I got a few runs. I remember playing in Johannesburg at the Wanderers against Transvaal, and Andrew Hall came and bounced and hit me on the head and the helmet, and I was down for 5 minutes and came back, and I ended up with 83 that day. So it's just getting past that first period, you know, those first couple of overs.
And we've caught up with his career, now to find out what he's up to now. So, Meyrick, what do you do now?
Actually, Edgemead Cricket Club had a function here, and the guest speaker was Fanie de Villiers. And afterwards, Fanie and I got together and started chatting, and asked me if I'd be interested in going to India. And I said,
and when was that?
That was in April.
April 2011?
Now, yeah.
Okay.
So he approached me after the function and wanted to know if I'd be interested in going to go do some coaching in India, and I said, yeah, I'd love to do that. You know, I've tried to get into the coaching systems here, and it hasn't worked. So yeah, I explored abroad, and India contacted me 2 days after I'd spoken to Fanie, and yeah, I've been there since the beginning of March. I've signed a 3-year contract with them, so with an extension of another 2. So yeah, it's 7 months of the year. I'm back on holiday now because it's a monsoon there. Not much cricket can be played. It just rains the whole month. So I'm based in Jaipur at the Jaipur Cricket Academy in Jaipur, and yeah, loving it. It's brilliant. Something new, something different.
So in this academy in Jaipur, who do you coach? These kids or players? How old are they? How young are they? Can you tell us?
They vary from the ages of about 10 to 20, and some unbelievable cricketers there. It's incredible. I'm sure you know yourself, you know how much cricket these boys play. I mean, they live and sleep and eat cricket. They don't even, some of them are quite intelligent, but they'd rather play cricket than rather go and study. This is what I've found in some of the children. And it's just an awesome experience to see these kids come from, some of them come from a really, really poor background that have got no money. And some of them were there for free because purely on their talent. And before I left, I think there were 2 or 3 guys that were up for selection from the academy for first-class cricket in Jaipur. So it's very exciting to see this type of talent that these guys have got. And without the facilities and the privileges that we have in South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, with swimming pools and mountain climbing and all those type of things, they don't have it there. I've got a very small gym, it's very limited. I can only have 6 of them in there at a time. But they absolutely love it. It's the first time that they've ever had an outside coach in their system, and they're just overwhelmed and over the moon, seeing something different added to their cricket and not seeing the same thing all the time.
So in the whole coaching aspect, are you mainly focused on the bowling? What is it that you do?
I do a lot more bowling coaching than I do obviously with the batting, and I wasn't the greatest batsman. But I could bat a little bit. I've got a first-class 100. Yes, you could bat. But I'm the director of coaching at the academy, so I oversee everything, and I fit in the bowling role. There is a guy there who's played first-class cricket who coaches, does the batting. And then I've got an elderly guy who does the fielding and a little bit of training. So we've got 3 different sections that we do. And yeah, we're probably going to get in another 2 more next year. There was a guy by the name of Bash Naidu. I think he was involved with the Royal Challengers Bangalore, not this IPL one before. And we want to try and get him or someone else in as a fitness trainer in the monsoon time. But yeah, that's how the system, I oversee everything.
Okay, all right. So director of coaching, Meyrick Pringle. I think if I said that to a few of your mates, it'd sort of be going.
Everybody's laughing. Is that another joke?
First year, so looking at the 3 years now, what are you up to there?
I started up a Pringle Sports and Education Foundation about 2 years ago. It's been a difficult time, obviously, with the recession and everything. The foundation is really battling with funding. We're looking for a major sponsor to come on board to keep operations of the foundation. And at this stage, myself and my cousin Grant Pringle run it in our spare time and in the evenings. And we try and host golf days and events to try and raise funds for underprivileged, talented children in South Africa. And not specifically in cricket, but it'll also be in rugby. If we spot somebody, we put him through a program. And it just hasn't been any funding at the moment to be able to put some of these kids and go and identify some of them and put them through a good school and bring them up and put them in hostels.
So what would happen then if you did get the funding and you had 3 kids who, one played rugby, one hockey, one cricket? What would you do with them?
We would put them through the academies, certain academies in South Africa, and we'll school them at Bishops, Rondebosch or Wynberg, or if it's Eastern Cape kid, we've approached Kingswood College, St Andrews, and Woodridge, and Muir College in the Eastern Cape. So it's all. We haven't been to Johannesburg yet, but we've been to Port Elizabeth in the Western Cape at this time. So yeah, it's just the funding's been the problem. We haven't been able to find funding to keep operations running.
Yeah, good luck with that. It's a good cause, certainly, and perhaps somebody will see here and will want to help you and help you to help those kids to get to those good schools, and with everything else with the academy. Nice to chat to you. Cheers.
Thanks, Prom. Nice to be on board.